So this is my second entry for my final project, my second video. On the previous one, I spoke about the social cooling discussions, like the listening that we did for class, and I gave kind of my opinion on it, just kind of how that article relates to me and how I will move forward with that information and how that article will help me or will be on my way when I move forward. And about the second one I like to talk about is the one about the fandoms and how they have become a war, like sports and influencers and singers and whatnot. So I believe that sometimes people tend to make influencers or the singers or sports fans that they like, they tend to make them, put them as a deity, like as if they were a religion, or that they, if they were like the holders of the truth and the only perfect people. I don't feel like that's a right approach to it. I feel like if you have a hero, if you have an idol, if that person is like somebody that inspires you to be better, to try and be like them, I feel like that's totally valid. And I myself have idols and people that influence me to be better on things that I like and to be better on things that I don't like even. Uh, but I also feel like if you put them like too high up, make them like too like the most important thing or the center of your life, I feel like that's not the right approach to it. To the point where if some people but I've seen many times in the internet this happening, people making a critic to a certain singer or a certain actor or sports person, and people just offending their entire like family tree, or just in general just being so offended by the fact that a person does not like the same things that they like, that they just fight with them, and that they just go all out in this war where like my idol, the person that I like most, that's the most important person ever. If you're talking bad about them, you either don't know what you're talking about or you're just a horrible person. I feel like that's, those discussions are like not necessary. And even if I've seen people with this method of trolling, just kind of uh, just trying to incite that chaos, trying to incite the conflict, I feel like that's also like not, that's kind of cringe too. If you're just like, if you just comment something saying, hey, that singer sucks, hey, that our actor doesn't really know how to act, hey, that sports guy, he's not the greatest, and just to see people like fight about it or just like to get people mad, I feel like that's kind of like a waste of everybody's time. But also like people that, even if you make like a valid point, I've seen many videos about people making valid points at why said person is not the best in what they do. People just hate, they trying to get the video down, they they just blast that person and go through like their entire life story just trying to get something bad about them. I feel like that's also like not a good approach to it. That it is healthy to try and make people understand that why you have the person as an idol, why that person is not that bad as they think, and why why that person is like a good singer, actor, influencer, and whatnot. But I feel like making people hating on people, making people feel bad just because they don't like the same person as you, or just because they're like their idols are not the same as yours, like they're bad people. I don't feel like that's really necessary. And I feel like the way that this article connects to the social cooling and post shame society one is that sometimes people should take a step back and evaluate that if it's really worth it engaging in those discussions. And that's something that I personally do. I feel like I'm a huge fan of Messi, the footballer, soccer player, and I've seen people like saying that just because like he's shorter than Ronaldo, which is another footballer, he's not as good just because like he doesn't have the abs that Ronaldo does, or people just go as far as calling him autistic and like a dwarf just because he's kind of short. I feel like that's like not a good course of action to take, and that's like not really. not something that I would engage in. I try to like feel like I'm a fan of them. He's my idol, Messi, but Messi is my idol. But I wouldn't go as far as just like engaging in like internet debates or discussions, just because I don't have that need to like make people feel like he's like the greatest. So I just kind of do that cooling of like I'm a fan. I'm not a stan as some people would call it, like a fan that's so in love and so like sick and so like not sick but just so into that one person that they're a fan of that they need to defend them. I don't have that same thing, but I also like trying to understand people that do it, and I understand that doing it is not really good and is like not really okay, and I just take that step on the cooling as if like I'm not gonna engage in that discussion. I'm not gonna hate on that person because I'm a fan. I just don't want a war, like an all out war about like who's the best or whose fans are the best. And I think that's how they relate, and that's how they both relate to me. So thank you very much for listening. Looking forward for the next one, and thank you.